Dear Dhamma friends, today also we are going to take time for the day's Dhamma talk. May everyone settle down and give the consent with 3 times sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Punnaca parang ahuso kalyana mitto hoti kalyana sahayo kalyana sampavankati. Dear Dhamma friends, we have taken that particular Sangiti Sutta as the main topic. And out of that, we have selected these 10 protective dhammas or protective points, Nātakarana Dhamma, as the subtopic for the whole series. That means it consists of 10 aspects. So for the last 2 days, we were discussing 1 point at a day, and today, accordingly, we have come to the third one. It says that the particular person who expects that kind of protection towards one's own spiritual journey, he or she must be a friend of good, true people, and associate noble friends or true person as intimate with that kind of a true person, and that will really give the protection for one's own unhindered journey, unhindered progress. So therefore, so far we have discussed 2 aspects which were more pertaining to one particular person, and now the third aspect with the external person. That means Kalyana Mitta is the word the Buddha used, that is to say a true person or a noble friend. And it's an open fact accepted, the Buddha was the best true person and the noble friend, and being so, he recommends each and everyone to take responsibilities to have that kind of true person or a spiritual friend, and be friendly with them and associate and be intimate with them, and that is the way you can cut off a lot of distractions and the hindrances. So this is the way that your spiritual journey, which is usually it is with lot of difficulties, with lot of complications, but when and where you are to see good role model or a true friend or a noble friend outside, and as far as you keep contact with, associate with that kind of a person, your journey will be a picnic, a hobby. So much so, it is going to give a change. So therefore, with respect to that, with respect to this point, many complain telling nowadays very difficult to find such a true person, very difficult to find a noble friend. So by normal face value, it appears to be true, but that itself make a sarcastic remark that if you are not a true friend, if you are not a noble friend, you never get outside noble friends as the noble true person. So therefore, first and foremost, you must know what are the qualities of a true person, what are the qualities of a noble friend, and without cultivating them, without developing them within yourself, hard you can recognize an outside noble friend, true person. So therefore, if someone is going to say nowadays that world is barren and deserted with respect to noble people or true people, that particular person who is making that remark is a barren person. He do not know, he do not possess these qualities. That does not condemn the particular person, but you have your own responsibility. More and more you develop these good qualities, in response you are going to have more and more true people, noble people right around you. So therefore it is reciprocal effect. First and foremost, you must have outside, and if you wish to have friendship with such a person or to be intimate, there is no other way other than you are developing these qualities. Then naturally bridging will happen, the merging will happen, and ultimately from generation to generation these qualities will be passed. So therefore the Buddha, setting the first example, he became enlightened and then asked others also to develop these qualities so that they can understand who the Buddha is, what is his teaching and what is his disciples, and that is the way the good qualities are spreading. So with respect, one to understand basically in theoretical sense, the Buddha himself depicted the basic qualities a true person should possess, or noble person should possess, and therefore whenever you are looking forward towards association or friendship, these are the qualities you must look into. Sometimes in Sri Lanka, when someone is paying respect to a virtuous person, they recite stanza with these qualities, and that is the way they recognize other person outside, and they use this particular stanza: Pyocha Garubhaviniyocha Vattancha Vachanakkamo Gambhirancha Katankatta No Chattane Niyoje. This is the way many devotees pay in respect to the noble people or true people, virtuous people. That stanza itself is indicating the qualities that a noble person should possess. First and foremost is pure. Pure means he must be a desirable person, lovable person. That is loving kindness. So therefore, whatever the virtues he or she is having, if this desirability or the loving nature is not there, very difficult for others to associate. So therefore you must understand, whoever it may be a virtuous person, the outlook, their appearance must be desirable, pure. That means loving kindness, and Garu means he is observing and having the disciplinary rules, and therefore others can pay respect without any hesitation. So he must be abiding by these monastic rules. So therefore, even though he is very desirable person, lovable person, he always try to keep his or her precepts or monastic code. So therefore he is cannot be a easily available or cheap kind of a person. Even though he is lovable and with loving kindness, he always try to keep values for the disciplinary rules. So these two qualities, when and where someone is developing to a certain extent, to a durable time, he become bhavaniya. Bhavaniya means he is going to receive loving kindness from the other people, going to receive respect from the other people. So that is how you are going to recognize a true person or a noble person. He is lovable and he is having his moral integrity, social responsibilities, and adhering to the monastic code or Vinaya rules. And even though with these qualities, others are giving respect to him, and he is being respected by many. So these are the qualities in the Asiatic countries people are looking forward. So therefore, from the Asiatic point of view, many elderly people, as and when they become old, they try to develop these qualities, and more they develop. As the age become elderly, they are going to receive more and more respect. But with compared to the Western countries, the social idols are basically young people. They are singers, they are actors, and they are the ones setting the norms and the role models to the society. But in the Asiatic countries, it is basically elderly people, those who are possessing this kind of qualities. So therefore, social norms are different from different cultures. So you are not going to criticize them, you are not going to analyze them, but when and where you are expecting or receiving any kind of a true person, you must go by desirable qualities, lovable or loving kindness, and adherence to the moral conditions, moral restrainment, and he or she must be receiving the love of many. So when and where you are to find such a person, and if you wish to develop kind of a relationship or association or intimacy, the best way is you have to be a person with loving kindness. Otherwise, you can't get the attention of such a person. And you also must be abiding by the social norms. You must not be a person always transgressing and trespassing the social norms. So you must have moral integrity, and then only when you give the respect as well as due consideration for them, in return you can have association with that kind of a true person. So therefore, more and more you associate with a true person or a noble friend, unless otherwise you are ready to change, unless otherwise you are ready to reconsider about your behavior, you may find difficult to even cope up with a true person. And those who do not know this art, those who do not know this criterion, they look at the world and generally make a statement. Nowadays you don't find that kind of a true people, difficult to get that kind of a noble friends, and therefore they say, as the time passes, the moral responsibilities and erosion of these human qualities are happening. But when you study from the history, specifically regarding with respect to the Buddhism, and throughout the society time, there were ups and downs, but there is no such a huge erosion of this kind of thing. Wherever you may be, if you are mindful, then only you can see other mindful person. If you are not mindful, you can't understand other people, whether they are mindful or not. So that is exactly the way Piya, Garu, Bhavaniya, that means the loving kindness and the moral integrity and the receiving the respect from the others. If you are if you have certain amount of these qualities, then only you can understand the other person, you can appreciate it. So therefore, by association, what happens is your qualities become more sharp, your qualities become very sensitive, and more you become sharp towards these qualities, you may find more than what you expected. Every society you have people better than you, people having some kind of a role model. So you have to you must be ready to reconsider about your likings and dislikings, your personality traits, your habits. If it is so, if you are ready to reshuffle, more and more you do it, you may find a lot of other true people outside. So therefore it is not a one-way process, it's a reciprocal. That is how it become a protection, not only to one particular individual, among the other people, that means in the society also. When and where society is abiding by this kind of rules, they get their own intrinsic protection. The other one is vattancha vachanakkamu. That particular person is dutiful. He select carefully what is my duty. Not everything except presented or invited, not everything that he or she is happy, but he with a broad consideration take it up. This is my duty, and then onward become dutiful and work in the punctual way, and therefore very easy for other people to follow it because he is concerned about duties. And the Burmese master, when he was delivering a talk, he says, here vatta is translated as duty, the duty without expecting any result. That is the duty. That is the duty of a true person. That's the duty of a noble person. If anyone expecting anything, that means supply and demand, that is economics. But this vatta or this duty is fulfilling to the utmost with fulfillment of the causes without expecting any results. This is how it becomes spiritual. This is how it becomes religious, and that when you are to see someone is fulfilling, you feel it is very attractive. He himself is abiding by the social norms and kind of thing, but fulfilling others' duties towards other duties, but without expecting any kind of thing. So this is very difficult to find in these consumer societies or the societies driven by these economic laws, because it is almost governed by supply and demand. Therefore, society at large, when it is deteriorating, everyone share their due share as far as it is driven by supply and demand. But if you are associating and if you try to fulfill this quality of dutifulness without expecting something in return, you will not be carried out by the social upheavals or ups and downs. You will be protected even by the universal law, because you are not expecting any kind of thing. So therefore, that kind of a thing only you can expect in the spiritual circles or religious circles. But even then, that is not for the missionary work. That is not to convince others or with vested interest, with a hidden agenda. Then it cannot labeled under the vatta. Vatta means the duty. So this duty is he or she is fulfilling without expectation of any results. And when it is doing, so much of criticisms, so much of bitterness he or she has to face. Even though doing unconditionally, even though fulfilling causes without expecting any results, so much of the bitterness has to be faced. So that particular person, the true friend, never gets shaken or carried away by these destructive criticisms. Vachanakkama means whatever you do, there are some people very critical and they are criticized destructively, And the true person, you can understand, he or she will not be carried away or taken for a ride by these bitter words or destructive criticisms, because he or she is not doing or fulfilling duties with any expectation. Whether it's a phrase or blame, unshaken, you have to fulfill the duties just like the sun and the moon. Many people give so much of praising and criticisms, whatever may be, sun and moon, they have their due cycles. They appear in the due time and disappear in the due time. Whatever the prayer you are going to do, they are not changing the timetable. So that is the way the true person, and that ultimately, if someone may take in this character of a true person, if someone is trying to do the same, that means applying this dutifulness as well as not without any expectation, he or she also going to get the benefits. Then you are developing kind of a backbone, spiritual backbone, without much shaking due to the constructive or destructive criticisms. So otherwise you will be ever worrying, because no one in the world can avoid this kind of a destructive criticisms. Even the Buddha. Natti loke anindito, the Buddha mentioned, no one he can find in the world who has not received any kind of a destructive criticism or blames. So therefore, the true person is always not worried about that. That does not indicate that he or she is not concerned about it, not sensitive about them. They know when you are proceeding in this path, whenever you have social interaction, this is always happening. So when people looking from the outside, you may see he is a glorious person and he is having so much of respect and he is having all the kind of thing, but you see only the one part. The other side, he gets equal amount of bitterness, equal amount of criticisms, but he knows, he don't consider this as a personal mistake. He never find fault with the person who is finding fault with him. He knows this is the natural law. So therefore the true person don't talk about it, don't promote about it. They understand it is understood. So that is how you gauge a noble friend, a true person, and in return, if you wish to keep the relationship with the noble friend, you also must develop that character. You also must get more and more criticisms and bitter words and nasty and destructive one, and don't try to pinpoint that particular person. Don't get carried away by this content of that. You have to understand that is the nature. In this world, even the people dutiful going to get the criticisms, even then he carry away. And the Buddha, when he was Buddha to be a bodhisattva, and he considered the situation, how he become critical about the others. As a bodhisattva, Buddha to be, he found that if you are narrow-minded, you expect everything positive, and whenever your parents are not giving what you expect, whenever your teachers are not giving the thing what you expect, whenever your rulers and the kings are not going what you expect, what you find is easily finding fault with the parents and the teachers and the rulers, and therefore the true nature, things as they are, you can't understand. So he thought, as a bodhisattva, one day I must become a Samma Sambuddha, that a fully enlightened one. And to be enlightened, I must have a peckless a faultless character. So therefore, the way I think and critical about the others, I must expect from the outside. So if I am going to live with such a society, what must be my attitude? And that is the way he was training himself. And there's one particular Jataka story, or Buddha to be, he became a big monkey, a leader in the forest. And the monkey life is not moral life. But anyway, he as the leader, he tries his best, and he became a good ruler to his clan, the group, and he was very hefty, very powerful. And one day he saw a person go in the forest and fallen into a very deep hole, and no food, nothing, and is helpless. So what he did was, he wanted to try whether he can take that person out. Of course, he himself can jump in and come out, but to carry that kind of a heavy weight, what he did was, he jumped into the hole and tried to find a big boulder inside the hole, and he tried to take the boulder first as a rehearsal. And he, with so much of difficulties, he took the boulder out, and he developed kind of a confidence that he can carry the person up. By the time he is second time going there, he was fairly exhausted. But anyway, he took the person, he was almost fainted, and with all the skillfulness, he took him out of the hole, the dip, and then fainted. And that particular person now, after so much of days of hunger and thirsty, he wake up and he found that he is no more inside the pit. And so hungry, he was so ignoble man, he wanted to kill the monkey and eat. What he did was, he took a boulder and hit the monkey thoroughly on the head. And the monkey, who was in fainted, got a thundering shock, and he opened up and to see that particular person he rescued is about to kill him. And already head damage, he jumped into the tree and found it is bleeding now. And now he is no more faint. And even then he thought, the monkey thought, or it thought, that particular person now lost the path. He do not know how to go to the village. So he just wanted to help him, but he can't lead the path because that particular person will kill him. So what he did was, ask him to follow the blood drops. And he jumped from tree to tree and showed him the nearby village so that he can go there and have food or drinks. This is the way he fulfilled, because he know anyone you going to help, in return he will kill you. This is the world. This is the world. So whenever you are helping others, and in return, if you are expecting something, your message will be completely misunderstood. Don't expect anything out of the people, those who have helped. So the Buddha, after became fully enlightened, he revealed these kind of things, telling when he was fulfilling these perfections, he thought everyone is thinking in the same way that I think, so therefore I have not go for opinion polls or asking views of the others. Your mind is the mind everyone is sharing. So therefore, when you are doing fulfilling duties, don't expect any kind of thing. If at all, if it is coming, it is just this bitterness, destructive criticism. So therefore, vachanakkhama, the forbearance with what the others are criticizing, also another good, very good quality of a true person. So therefore he is unshaken. Whether he praised or blamed, but when someone is trying to follow such a true person, and he or she himself wish to be wish to train this kind of qualities, this may be a hardest training. This may be a most difficult exercise someone to expect. So therefore, whenever if you wish to have a true friend and if you try to be a true friend, don't consider this world as a bed of red roses. Wherever the bed of red roses, the danger of red is there. That is what when Jnanananda put in his diary notes. So therefore, world is a bitter one. It's a vicious. With this vicious world only you try to expect a true friend. With this only you try to be a good friend. And I can remember Mahatma Gandhi, I think you would have heard about that Indian leader. He has mentioned, if you wish to perform some kind of a social work, please remember and see as to whether you are qualified for that. So he said there are 4 thresholds or gateways or barriers on the way. He says, when and where you being a person thinking about the social well-being, and if you try to organize volunteer work or some kind of thing, and if you go and ask a help from the village headman or person, some well-to-do, venerable, master, I need this kind of help, I am going to do this and that social work, and would you mind to spare some of tools or some of resources like, you will, if you are immature, unqualified, you will think that particular person will be very generous and thanking you, telling that you are a good man from the village, therefore here the equipment and here the resources like. But instead he says, he will look from head to the toes and ask, what are you going to do? Are you going to go for election campaign? Or you are behind any other thing? So you don't know, you young man, you mind your own business. Don't do that kind of thing. He will completely in the negative in terms. So if we have such a shaky mind for that kind of a remarks, first and foremost thing is don't go for social work. It is not so easy like that. And then he says, Mahatma Gandhi, he says, many are get discouraged by this first impression that we expect out of the so-called recognized, socially accepted people. And even then, if the resources what you have, with that kind of a treatment, still if you are going there, these are the people going to spread rumors, telling that you are behind something. You may be behind a girl, or behind a political popularity, or some kind of thing. When you come home, family people will find fault with you, telling, spending your time and money. You go out, but ultimately what we are listening as your family members is completely wrong thing. So therefore, don't go. And therefore, if you are not aware of this vicious nature of the cycle, this is the second blow you are to get. People going to talk malice behind you, even though you are doing it out of your money and out of your time. And some people, he says, very little amount can still go further, and then still they carry out their services. And he says, directly they will come and threat you openly. We are the people, we are the recognized people. You can't do this kind of this in our jurisdiction, and either put you into a jail or some or the other juggler they will play. And sometimes they will put into the jail for your whole life, or with a rigorous imprisonment, and see you are no more. This is the third stage, and he says that is the stage Gandhi underwent. He was being killed. That is what John F. Kennedy, that is what happened to Vanaya, all the people. And then he says, if you manage to pass through these 3 stages, just mere discouragement, rumors, and some kind of a threat, then they will start praising you, putting garlands and put on your stage and giving that Nobel Prize and this and that. Then the Gandhi says that is the worst thing, because up to the third point you have yourself with you. Whenever the praise and gain happens, you are losing to yourself, so that means completely finished. So don't go for, if you do not know this size, 4 layers for this social work. So Buddha to be, he knew everything. He knew whenever you are trying to do something, negative remarks and then rumors. Third one is a legal kind of a thing, you put into jail. And fourth one is phrasing. You don't get carried away by anything, so much so you will not go to your destiny. There are a lot of sideways and by routes. So without, each and everyone is insecure. The destiny is the secure place, so to go there, you must understand the world, the vicious nature of the world. So to put up with the bitter words, put up with destructive criticisms, when you are confronted with that, that is the quality you can understand whether you can forbear it, you can still maintain your mindfulness and the integrity, and that is how the true person is. Showing their own role model, and if you wish to associate with them, you also must be ready for that kind of thing according to your due share. So otherwise you find very difficult to keep up with the noble person. So you also have to develop these qualities, and even with all the qualities, the noble person receiving so much of disciples and so much of popularity, but he never misused his disciples. He never put into the wrong paths. He always keep it open, telling this is the nature, and he never misused it. All the other cult groups, all the other people, those who have the missionary agenda or any kind of a malevolous agenda, they never allow you to be a neutral person. They always work in such a way according to their wrong agenda. But no true person, never it happened. So to understand the true person, you must have to have enough experience in this life, in this world. If you are going to consider the world as a bed of red roses, then definitely you are going to end up with troubles. So the Burmese master, he explained, when the Buddha became enlightened or fully gained omniscient knowledge, he scanned through the world and see who the second person who can understand the profundity of this Dhamma, and he found at the first incident, he took the step back, he found no one in the world can understand. So therefore he decided not to share it, because the Dhamma is so profound. And according to the story goes, the Maha Brahma came and invited him. Please, if you after the becoming enlightened, if you are also not going to proclaim and declare Dhamma, the world is at lost. I know there are no people completely into understand your profundity. Therefore, may be some people with little dust in their eyes. They may try. Please give a try. Otherwise, we are lost. Then only Buddha made up his mind, and then he selected the 5 assistants, helped him, and by the time they all left him, telling that Buddha has taken a comfort journey or comfort way of life, and ultimately after the enlightenment, he traveled weeks of walking. After weeks of walking, these 5 ascetics. It's a very famous in the biography of the Buddha. When he was reaching, all the 5 ascetics got together and to discuss, this fellow is coming back because he can't live without assistance. He is coming from the Kingsley family. We were helping him as far as he was doing austere practices. Now he is in the comfort life. So he is now coming to get our assistance. We are not going to give. Don't give that kind of a respect, and if he wish, he come and put up with us. And when the Buddha went there, he washed his own leg and sit there and ask them, please listen. They asked, for what? You and we are the same. Why we should listen to you? And the second time also, please listen. No. He talked as a friend. Well, what is the difference between you? Who are you to talk? And who are we to listen to you? Third time also, failure. And then he played a different trick. The Buddha mentioned, now I have been with you 6 years. You know in and out of each of us. Have I ever bragged for the last 6 years, telling that I achieved this and that? Then each other looked at each other and told that this person is never bragging himself. And then the Buddha asked, but you know why that I never bragged and boasted? Because I had nothing to tell you. We are the same. But now I am telling you, come and sit. I am going to teach you. Because of what? Because I got something. Then only they listen. And the first day, as you know, the Kondanya, the eldest, he got the first Magga, second was the Vappa. And after 5 days, he gave a second sermon, and then everyone became fully enlightened. And the Vappa, the second one, before his passing away, he had some utterance or psalm. He says, Passo passati passantang apassanto passati na passantang na passanti passanto na passati. He said, those who have eyes can see. They can see other people as those who have eyes. The blind can't see, so much so, he can't see the other person who has eyes. So it appears like very simple thing. So that is what the Kalyana Mitta. If you have Kalyana Mitta qualities, you can see another Kalyana Mitta. If you do not have Kalyana Mitta qualities or true person qualities, you are like a blind person. You can't make out whether the other person is a true person or not. So if you say it's everyone, I can't see any person in the world have this kind of qualities, that means you are blind. So you have to have some certain amount of vision, then only you can understand who is blind and who is not. So therefore this Kalyana Mitta qualities is a reciprocal thing. First and foremost, you of course have to have a role model, and then to associate that kind of a person, intimate with that kind of person, you have to develop qualities, otherwise the relationship will be broken off. So therefore the Buddha says, you must be a friend of the true person. Keep the association, keep the intimacy, and that is the way your qualities will be preserved and protected. Otherwise, if you can't see any Kalyana Mitta, that is not the proper place for you to live. Or otherwise, your eyes are still closed. You can't see it. So therefore, more and more you practice. If you find more and more true people, more and more noble people, that is a very good sign that you are progressing. If you are about to see others are cheating you, others are bitter towards you, and you are discouraged, and you are going to get the harsh response, that means your Kalyana Mitta qualities are in deterioration and you are not in a progress. So therefore, more and more you practice, I will replace that term practice as mindful. More and more you become mindful, you find other mindful people. Otherwise you don't know who is mindful or who is not. So therefore, more and more you associate Kalyana Mitta, and more you develop your own mindfulness or your own practice, you will never discriminate, say he's Kalyana Mitta is a good person, he is not Kalyana Mitta is a bad person, and ultimately you never discriminate. Instead, you understand, as far as I develop more and more these good qualities, easily I can understand others' qualities, and I have no any rights to look down others. Those who do not have qualities. So that is the way you have to develop your this thing. That is what it says, that whatever the criticism coming from the bad side, you have to forbear and keep on practicing. So therefore, the proclamation or the teaching or the Dhamma of the Buddha is very difficult, it's demanding so much because of this moral integrity, moral responsibilities. And on top of that, you have to learn, you have to associate good friends and practice. So much of things for nothing. At the end, you get nothing. Nibbana means nothing. So you must be totally mad to do it. So therefore many out of 199% will get discouraged and go back, telling it is difficult. But the Buddha says, and one day Venerable Ananda helping the Buddha, and was so imbibed in helping the Buddha, and he practiced in a shade of the monastery, and he was so happy. Mindfulness is intact, and the concentration, the wisdom, everything. And he went and pay respect to the Buddha. Bante, that I had a very nice sitting, it's very good. I think 50% of my thanks should go to you because of your good association only. Due to the good association of the Kalyana Mitta, only I got the 50% of my success. Then the Buddha says, be careful. Don't rush. Not the 50%, 100% of your practice, 100% of your success, 100% of your achievement is due to Kalyana Mitta. The moment you get the Kalyana Mitta, you are automatically on the way. Automatically you are on the conveyor belt, definitely you will go to the Nibbana. So therefore 100% of your difficulties will be answered when and where you met up with Kalyana Mitta, and then onward what you have to do is keep the contact with, keep the intimacy with them. So any person go and stay longer time in Panditarama, in Sayadu Pandita, before leaving, he says, and people say, Bhante, today we see you and tomorrow we don't get a teacher and we don't have chance to interview and Dhamma talks, and therefore we feel very sorry to leave you and all the kind of thing. He says, wherever you may be, if you are mindful, the Dhamma blood is circulating. We are in the Dhamma family, nothing to worry the distance and the time. If you are not mindful, even if you are in the Panditarama, you are lost. So therefore mind your business. Wherever you go, we are in the same vibration. So therefore Kalyana Mitta never hold you in time and space. Give the full liberation, but with the responsibility, be mindful, be diligent, and when and where you become mindful and the diligent, you are serving towards the Kalyana Mitta in a very religious way, in a very spiritual way, and you yourself get the benefit and setting the good example. So therefore, at the beginning, you find very difficult to find a proper role model or a Kalyana Mitta. That is because your narrowness, your arrogance, your lack of understanding. More and more you practice, you will see the fireplace, when the fire arises, there is also teaching Dhamma. When the wind is moving, there is also teaching Dhamma. When the water is flowing, there is also teaching the Dhamma. The soil hardness, there is also teaching Dhamma. Even immaterial things, even non-living things become your Kalyana Mitta. That is because you are expert, you are sensitive, you are mindful. More and more you become mindful, you find the whole world is nothing but a Kalyana Mitta. One of my teachers, after Vinabanyana Rama, when Kemananda came into, he told one day, the whole world is for me to practice loving kindness. Each and everything is teaching me, if I am to be more and more to develop loving kindness, world is ever teaching me, ever giving the message. So therefore, nothing to be throw away. Anything come along your way, become a teacher. Once you become receptive, once you become diligent, once you become vigilant, once you become mindful, once you become aware of the choices awareness, evenly suspended attention. But the catalytic effect, for you to come up to that level, there should have a role model. But you see the catalytic effect, the catalyzer, by contributing to the system, it never changes. That's the nature of the catalyzer. So exactly the way Kalyana Mitra, whether he help others or not, get the blame or fame, he never changes. He dutifully and beautifully serve the duties, never expect something back. So that is, can we expect that kind of a lesson in our conventional classroom? Can we expect that kind of a teaching from our parents? Can we expect that kind of a teaching from our conventional teachers, or politicians, or social scientists, or economists? Never. Attattavanya asuchi manussa. The Buddha says, bhajanti sevanti cha karanatta attattavanya asuchi manussa. Anyone associating other person for some money, without any that kind of thing, no association each other. Each and every association indicates is after something. Attattavanya asuchi manussa. Any association, any relationship we do and measure in terms of dollars. Atta means Artha Shastra, that is economics. Bhajanti sevanti cha karanatta. If you are keeping any relationship to gain. If there is no gain, no relationship. Attattavanya asuchi manosa. The man always become entrepreneurship, business, busyness, nothing but $4. So therefore, better to dissociate that kind of people and go into the forest and try to be like a single horn of a rhinoceros. Rhinoceros is the only animal that have single horn. That's the most powerful. All the others have two, just like married people. So these things appear like unsocial, appear like harsh, appear like critical, but no one can challenge. So therefore we must make association, but there should not have any hidden agenda. There should not have any kind of a, something behind of it. It must be mere for the true human nature, for the spiritual friendship, and the membership and subscription only in terms of mindfulness. Wherever you go, you try to be mindful. That is your membership card. That is your subscription. As far as you are mindful, you are in the society of the true person. So therefore, unless otherwise you open that eye, your whole life will be just for the political gains, or economical gains, or social gains. But that is, you are far away distance from the reality, things as they are. Therefore, the true person always exemplifying, there is another way, there is another dimension, there is another paradigm. We can associate without any kind of an agenda, but still for the sake of humanity, from the ethical point of view and from the spiritual point of view, be here and now, to see things as they are, to see the true nature of the things. For that, without the help of the outside, you can't get enlightened. Always you have to have a comparison. For example, the newly born child, he or she does not carry any defilement, no any desire, no any hatred, no any ignorance. But that particular creature do not know that I have no defilements, no interaction, no relationship. Up to the age 6, is so pure. And without any meditation, without any sitting meditation, walking meditation, no mindfulness, the mind is naturally pure. But only thing is, does not know. But we, passing 6 years, we develop so much of relationship. Each and every relationship is adding more and more defilements. And even then the Buddha says, no harm, no permanent damage. You can again be enlightened, mindful and understand, even though these defilements happens, they are not going to make a permanent damage as far as you know the art of how to be mindful. And then not like a child, you can do little by little, do away with desire, the hatred and the bewilderment. And here the difference is, you know, because of your past, because of your relationship with others, because of the relativity with the other people. So therefore enlightenment has some kind of a relationship with the external world. So therefore if you try to completely hate the society and go into the forest, and just by mere going in the forest, make no any difference. On experiment places you can go and compare it with, just like coming here and living in a monastic atmosphere. But always it must be compared with the outside world. So in the normal sense it is, you must not be, it is not enough by just being good, you must be appear to be good. That is the way our interaction with the world. So when we are associating, if you are going to associate the society as it is, many people are not spiritual, many people are not virtuous, so therefore you must have to have a catalytic effect, a role model, and associate that particular person, follow him, and when you are doing, you will learn the least frictional path, and once you understand it, you may see your basic potential is there throughout. The true person is showing you, you have the full potential, but in order to make it come into the surface, you have to have a particular system, particular methodology, and when and where go there, you may find each and every person, whether good or bad, they have the same potential, but they are not trying. They are just blindly carried away by the social norms, and therefore just by carrying that, make nothing. So therefore, understanding a true person is you are understanding, or I would put it this way, understanding and recognizing a true person outside means you are understanding your good qualities hidden inside you. True person is nothing but a mirror. He is showing you, you also have the same potential. For the moment you have highlighted or mobilized only little fraction that indicates you have the potential, follow the same, and when you are doing, slowly, your qualities will be enlightened slowly, and ultimately the person who has enlightened before and the person to enlighten behind, exactly the potential wise the same. So therefore, you will never discriminate, he is not meditating, he has no moral integrity, his person is enlightened, he is meditating, he is having the moral integrity. That is going to make troubles. But you see things as they are, you take this opportunity to go into the more betterment and take higher responsibilities and follow the suit. So therefore, the most ethical part of this game, understand the true friend is asevanacha balanam panditanancha sevana. That is how the Maha Sutta is starting. So whenever you see the minority of true person, if you wish to have association, if you wish to have intimate relationship with the true person, best thing you have to do is dissociate in a hidden way from the ignoble people. If you are not doing that, you don't get any space to associate with the true people. So, first and foremost, asevanacha balan. Do away with this, the ignoble people. So, that is a fact, but anyway, it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. So, therefore, you must do it in such a way so that he or she do not recognize, never understand that you are dissociating. That is the difficult part. You must dissociate in such a way, you are giving so much of explanation, telling I have that job and this and today I can't come. I like this party, but the thing is that I have that trouble, I have to go somewhere else. And likewise, you give explanation. Because the dissociation with the ignoble people is very, very dangerous. That is why we become multitaskers. We perform all the kind of thing, ultimately, back at home, only the frustration is left behind. So dissociation is the ignoble people, but that must happen in a very artful way. Then only you get enough space to associate the good friend, and exactly the way in Sri Lankan or Asiatic Buddhist nature, people are very happy to do meritorial deeds, punya karma, and therefore they are very busy. They are very busy, dana pinkama, that pinkama and this pinkama, but they don't know the most valuable thing is not to do bad thing is the best. The first and foremost, rather than doing good things. Sabbapapassa akaranam is the first and foremost, then only kusalassa upasampada. So if you mixed it up, you will become very busy in religious things, ultimately end up with chaos. So first and foremost thing is not to do bad things. That is up to you. You need not any person. But to do kusala karma or meritorially, you need so much of external thing. So we make ourselves busy, be a person with so much behind the kusala karma, and ultimately make yourself more and more busy, and you forget about not to do bad things. But the Kalyana Mitta clearly shows this is just escapism. Your main task is not to do bad things. And then only you become qualified to do good things. Instead, what you do is putting the cart before the horse and then say no journey. Because cart is meant to horse to put the first and then the cart to go there. So likewise in the Kalyana Mitta and the doing things, always put it in a proper order, and the resources what we have is more than enough. No one is deprived of any resources. Only thing is we have put in the wrong order. So what we do is, even though there are some Kalyana Mittas and opportunities, we keep so much of value for ignoble work and ignoble people. For example, for the politics, for economical gains and for the social status, so much so you lose your solitude. So when and where you find the putting in the proper order, we have equal opportunities. So Kalyana Mitta never find fault with you, but when and where the time matures, they will show you, they will indicate you, you are the very person responsible for your today's timetable, today's outlook that decides tomorrow. So you have enough chances, changeable capacity in the present moment. If you are not ready to change, if you are not ready to reshuffle, if you are not ready to reconsider, you will be in the same rut. So therefore, the Kalyana Mitta, when the time matures, when the opportunity comes, always says anything we can change for the betterment. That is how Kalyana Mitta, they become Kalyana Mitta. That's a message they give. And if you are ready to change, if you are ready to reconsider yourself, that message appear very constructive. Otherwise you find, not today, I will do it tomorrow, or you will be postponing and delaying the things. So much so your communication with the Kalyana Mitta or association will be distracted. So during the time of the Buddha, so much of people confronted the Buddha. And the Buddha has compassion to teach them, but they were not ready. They were not patient enough to listen, and then that was the end of the relationship. So one person came and paid the respect to the Buddha, and he told, by already Bhante, I am with the 8 precepts. And the Buddha said, very good that you have initiative to do it and all the kind of thing. Then he says, I would like to explain the 4 kind of people in the world. And when the Buddha presented the topic, he told Bhante, we are lay people, so much of responsibilities, sorry, we don't have time to listen to you. Then Buddha says, okay, then you may go as you like. Soon Venerable Ananda came and asked, then Ananda told, that particular person, if he patient enough to listen to that particular sermon, he would have get enlightened. And then Venerable Ananda told Bhante, he lost the chance, but out of compassion, please let me know. And then the Buddha gave that his sermon due. So therefore, even the Buddha go and try to be compassionate, if you are not prepared, what to do? It says if the pot, the clay pot is upside down, whatever the water you are going to pour, nothing going, because it's upside down. The pot has to be in the properly placed, then only the accumulation of water can happen. Therefore, receptivity of yourself, or the receptivity or ability to change of ourselves, it is up to ourselves. So Kalyana Mitta is like a sun and the moon, always coming and goes in the proper order, and you must be ready. When it is ready, when you are ready, the message is there. So the Burmese master, they says, the rain is happening everywhere. If your vessel is outside, it will accumulate water. If you do not keep the vessel outside, no accumulation. If the vessel is with a big mouth and little capacity, it will quickly fill and spill. If it is a little mouth and a big belly, it will take long time to fill. And there's a hole underneath. After the rain, everything goes. So therefore, rain is raining, the holding capacity is there. So, but in this particular discourse, the Buddha mentioned about the association with the Kalyana Mitta. So that catalytic effect is very important for someone to have. And even though it is there, if you do not know how to extract, how to receive it, then it's a wastage of time. So therefore, more and more you practice, you may find more than what you expected, the people are naturally good. Because of your wrong view or because of their wrong association, their outlook and their behavior is appear to be corrupted. But they're naturally good. More and more you to understand your goodness, your purity of the heart, that your association with others won't make much of repercussions, and things will be easier. So you may find lot of more than expected amount of true friends and the noble people. That indicates you are progressing. So hope by associating the Buddha and associating his Dhamma and associating with disciples and associating with your Sila or the moral responsibilities, represent the Kalyana Mitta. So therefore, more and more you keep association, that means reminding and be close with the triple gems and your precepts or integrity, definitely going to give you more opportunities. More and more you put into practice, more and more you to see the qualities of the Buddha as well as the good people right around, that it is a lifelong experiment. Ever not a single thought moment you can waste away. Each and every time when you are mindful and diligent, you are appreciating your external Kalyana Mitta as well as mobilizing internal Kalyana Mitta. So with that remark, I would like to sum up the today's talk. Thank you very much for listening. So just like last few days, we are going to take little few minutes to share merits with all the seen and unseen beings, and thank all the people help organize these all benevolent things. Ittavata jangammehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata jangammehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata jangammehi sambetang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu sasana. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahitika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu sasana. Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahitika chirang rakkantu mam parang. Idang go ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang go ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang go ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.